Hi everybody. I want to share with you just a quick thought, an idea that could make all the difference in the world to your business. If your Scentsy business right now isn't where you want it to be, meaning you're not making the income that you want, you maybe haven't progressed to the title that you want, it's very likely that the issue isn't your sales. It's your recruiting. This is a recruiting focused compensation plan. In order for you to progress in Scentsy, you have to become an expert recruiter. So I want to just share something. I just want to cut right to the center of what recruiting is. When it comes to recruiting, there's really three aspects of it, okay? But unfortunately, most consultants get hung up on the least important of the three. And the reason why we focus on the least important is because it's the least scary, okay? But I want to cut just into reality here. And any consultant who's been a big-time recruiter, I mean like at least 100 frontline recruits, understands this principle. So what are the three things? Number one, it's a game of numbers. The more people you talk to, the more likely it is that you'll recruit. The more people that you expose the business opportunity to, the more likely it is that you'll recruit. So what does that mean? It means that, people you talk to at a party, at a show, at a fair, on the street, in the grocery store, it doesn't matter. But there's a number associated with your recruiting activities, period. That's point number one. Point number two is the act of following up with those people. So point number one, how many people do you talk to? Point number two, how often do you follow up and what is the nature of your follow-up? And point three, what is your approach? What do you say to them? So how many people, how do we follow up? What is the approach? Here's the problem. So many consultants focus on approach, okay? Trying to get the exact wording right, trying to know exactly what to say and how to say it. Please let me share with you something very, very true. The approach is the least of the important parts. It's still important. I don't want to say it's not totally important, but it's way less important than literally how many people you talk to. And there's evidence of this all over the place. You look at the superstar directors and you look at the people who have recruited over 100 people each. They're all different personalities and they use all different approaches. So what's that telling you? Is that there is no one specific approach. A whole bunch of approaches work. The best approach is just being authentic, being yourself, not trying to be someone else. So what that's telling you is the approach that you take is actually the least important. It's still important, but it's the least important. What is most important by far is how many people you talk to. You've got to get out and expose yourself. You've got to do recruiting pitches at parties. You've got to do parties. You've got to do fairs. You've got to get out of your comfort zone and talk to more people because the reality is in 5 years that we've been doing this business, I bet it's less than 1 in 10. I bet it's less than 1 in 10 people that we actually talk to that we get a recruit from. So just do the math. If you're wanting to get 10 recruits this year, you've got to talk to at least 100 people. And then point two, you've got to have a consistent follow-up approach with them. You've got to consistently be talking to them again. What you actually say to them, point three, that's the least important. So we're in October. We're in a recruiting focused month. Think point number one and point number two. I've got to get out and talk to a whole bunch of people. That requires me turning off Facebook, turning off the computer, and actually getting out and actually talking to people. Point number two, follow up. Point number three, it's not completely unimportant, but your approach isn't as important. And there's evidence of that because of every different type of personality of successful recruiter and every different type of approach. But the consistent thing with all of them is that it is a game of numbers. This business is a game of large numbers. The more people that you can talk to, the more likely it is that you will be successful in recruiting. And if you're successful recruiting, then you will progress up through the titles and you'll earn the type of money that you want to earn.